Hello and welcome back to SCI Teach. So this is a specimen analysis for agricultural science, NECO 2024. So as usual, we're going to see the different specimens and then we group them and look at how they're going to be compared or contrasted. So let's go. We're going to start by grouping specimens A, B, C, and D. So we're going to have about 4 groups in this lesson. Specimen A is hand fork, specimen B is garden fork, specimen C is hand trowel, and specimen D is knapsack sprayer. So we're going to group these 4 together because they have similar applications, and we're going to discuss those ones. All right? Okay. So let's start by listing out the uses of these specimens. Specimen A, that's hand fork, is used in loosening surface soil. That's breaking soil clots. It's also used in light weeding. If you want to weed just lightly, it's not deep weeding. You can also use hand fork to remove light weed. And also, hand fork can be used for mixing small quantities of soil. That's when you want to, apply manure to the farm. You can use the hand trowel and mix small quantities of soil and the manure together. And also, hand fork is used for working manure into soil. It can be used to maneuver the soil so that the manure can get into it adequately. All right. Then for garden fork, it is used for loading of manures as well as the loading of hay. If you remember, you can load hay there and to supply to the animals that are going to eat it. Or in this case now, we can use this garden fork to load manure from where it is to where we want to apply it, right? And also it's used for in the loosening of soil. It can also be used as sort of equipment for tilling the floor, tilling the soil, just kind of giving it looseness so that the manure and water can penetrate. And then specimen C, that's hand trowel, is used for transplanting seedlings from the nursery to the primary site, where it's going to be. You use the hand trowel to transplant those seedlings, and also use hand trowel for in fertilizer application. You pack fertilizer with the hand trowel and then supply it to the soil where you want to. Okay, you can also use it for manure application. All right, then you can use hand trowel in loosening vegetable beds. You can use it to kind of tilling, kind of loosening the bed of vegetables. So since you can use spade, since it's too big, you don't want to climb and stuff. You can also use hand trowel for light weeding, just like the hand fork. And also you can use it for mixing soil and fertilizer together, and also for digging holes for planting. So you dig a little hole where you're going to put your seedling or your little plant for it to grow. So those are what you can use hand fork, garden fork, and hand trowel for. Now, specimen D, which is knapsack sprayer, is what we're going to discuss now. And I want to remind you that sprayers are just types of equipment designed to spray certain chemicals in various farm operations. There are different types of sprayers, okay? You can have handgun, like the knapsack sprayer, like in this case. You have motorized sprayers, you have boom or tractor mounted sprayers, and all that. But we're going to, you can even have helicopter mounted sprayer. We're going to concentrate on what we have for now, which is knapsack, which is a pneumatic sprayer. So in knapsack sprayer, the pressure needed to spray chemical is provided by the hand, by your hand. That is, it's a hand operated sprayer. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so it's made of plastic, steel, or galvanized iron. That's the tank. So it has a tank. That's what I'm trying to say. There's also a pump and a spray nozzle. It uses compressed air to drive the spray. So it can even be mounted on tractor, or it can be manually operated. In this case, it's manually operated. All right. What are the functions of sprayers generally? Sprayers can be used to control the growth of weeds. No, if what is in the sprayer is herbicide. So if you put herbicide in the sprayer, you can spray it and control weed growth. Also, it is used to control insects. That's if it's insecticides that is inside the sprayer. So can also be used to control insects. It's also used to spray disinfectants on livestock houses and structures. Then it can also be used for light irrigation or watering of vegetable beds. Okay, it can be used to spray liquid fertilizers also. Liquid fertilizers, liquid pesticides, you can use a sprayer for a knapsack sprayer. It can also be used to spray liquid fertilizers and pesticides. That's what I'm going to say. It's also used for the application of plant hormones. All right, but what are the precautions to take when you are spraying chemicals using a knapsack sprayer? Number one, do not use this knapsack sprayer under windy condition. That's in rainy days. Don't use it. Also, wash your hands and body after you use them. You just finished spraying chemicals, and this, since it's in spray form, it's almost in gaseous. It's gaseous form, so it can attack you. I mean, it can be, the particles of the gas can be on your skin or your cloth. You need to change that so that the chemicals will not have an effect on your skin and body. All right, so wash hands and body after use. Also, spray in the direction of light wind. Don't go and open it to the direction where there is heavy wind and it brings it back to you, or even waste it because it's going to carry it to places you don't want it to be. So spray it in the direction of light wind. Also, do not spray or use under closed conditions. We said that you shouldn't use it when it's a windy day or a rainy day. But that's not to say you should use it in a closed environment, because you need some of the concentration of the chemical you're spraying to not be on you. Okay, in fact, we don't talk or even smoke or drink or eat anything while spraying, because you don't want to open up your system for these gases to enter into you. So you see why I shouldn't do it in an enclosed place, right? All right, wear protective covering also when using a knapsack sprayer, and ensure that there are no leakages in the system. All right, so I'll repeat: do not eat, do not drink, do not smoke while you are operating a knapsack sprayer. Remember to write all this. And then never blow to clear blocked nozzle with your mouth. Don't blow to clear blocked nozzle with your mouth. Let's say you were spraying and then maybe a little particle of something gets into the nozzle and blocks the nozzle, and then it's not spraying well. Don't be tempted to use your mouth to blow the nozzle, because it comes back to your face. All right, so never blow to clean blocked nozzle with your mouth. Dispose all empty containers safely into dog pits or dump pits. Keep the nozzle close to the ground to prevent spray dirt or spray drift or body contact. Okay, and avoid walking on fresh sprayed plots. You just finish spraying, don't go and walk there. Don't go and start trekking or walking on that area, because the chemicals are still harsh there. The major thing here is that the precaution is you protect yourself, that the spraying protects others that may be living around there so that they won't be attacked by the chemicals which you were using for good. All right, so that's the precautions that should be taken when using a knapsack sprayer. All right, so what are the protective devices that should be worn by any farmer that is using knapsack sprayer? Number one, boots. So you make sure that what you spray on the ground will not touch your foot. You wear a boot. Hand gloves, so you make sure that what you're spraying does not touch your hand, because you're even using your hands to operate most of these areas. You wear a hand glove. You wear goggles or face shield or nose mask, or a combination of all of them. Wear goggle, face shield, nose mask, so that your nose will inhale the gases, your mouth won't take in the gases, and your eye is not exposed to those chemicals that are harsh. And also wear respirators. You've covered your nose and eye and everywhere, so you need to wear some. What you will be getting oxygen from is required. Now, also wear impermeable overalls. Don't go and wear clothes that are loose. Wear overalls. Wear those plastic or rubber overalls where the gases will not penetrate those clothes and into your skin. Wear impermeable overalls. And then wear plastic caps. Don't wear cloth made cap. Don't wear cotton made caps, because the gases can penetrate the cap that are made of cotton or something, but won't penetrate a plastic cap. All right, so those are the protective devices that you should be thinking of if, as a farmer, using a knapsack sprayer. Okay, so how do we maintain a knapsack sprayer? Like any sprayer, okay, it should be properly rinsed with water after use to get rid of leftover chemicals that may come back to attack the parts of the machine and be the equipment. So always rinse it with water, not stagnant water, running water, so that the leftover chemicals on the body of the knapsack sprayer will be removed. Also, clean the nozzle and rinse with water to remove leftover chemicals. And also keep in cool and dry place, not cold and wet place. Cool, not a hot place, but dry, not wet. Okay? Turn upside down after use or after cleaning. Turn the knapsack sprayer upside down so that all the liquid inside the water you used or the chemicals inside will drain out slowly. Then operate according to instructions. Don't try your own way. Look at the user manual and operate according to instruction. Now, what will happen? What are the problems that may result from poorly maintained knapsack sprayer? You can have things like clogging of nozzles. You didn't clean it after use. There was a dirt there that stayed inside the nozzle and becomes hardened with time and blocks that nozzle. So you have a clogged nozzle. That can result when you don't maintain a knapsack sprayer or any sprayer that has a nozzle. Also, you can have leakage of pressure chamber. The pressure chamber of the knapsack sprayer may start leaking because you've not been maintaining it. That's because maybe you didn't turn it upside down, and if it was made up of just steel, the water inside that settled inside can react with the air and rust materials, which causes leakage of those pressure chamber and also leakage of the chemical from the tank. All right, you can also have punctured holes. You kept it in a place where maybe there are sharp objects, thorns, and then it comes in contact with the hose and can puncture the hose. And then also cross-contamination can occur if not washed after use. Alright, so those are the problems that can result if you don't maintain your knapsack sprayer or you poorly maintain it. Alright, so you should also remember to maintain your hand fork, hand trowel, and garden fork. And how to describe them also. Remember that hand fork consists of a piece of metal with 3, or 4 short flat prongs. Some have short wooden handles though, while others are entirely made of metal. All right. And remember the uses that I've mentioned. Okay, so how to maintain that hand fork? Remember to store in a dry and cool place. Paint or oil or grease to prevent rusting, the metal parts. And also clean or wash it after use. Use it for intended purpose. All right. Then for hand fork, the same thing. Hand fork also usually has 4 prongs or teeth. These prongs taper to a point. They reduce in diameter, in width to the tip. The tip is smaller in width than the head. Is head attached to the stem. All right, that's what I mean. It tapers to a point. Now the prongs are made of hard metal, and they are about 20 centimeters long. They are mounted on a long wooden handle or metal handle, as the case may be, which is 70 to 80 centimeters long. All right. I've told you the functions already. Remember how to maintain them. Almost similar. Apply grease to avoid rusting on the metal surfaces. Clean after use. Keep in a dry, cool place. Paint the metal parts before you store it for a long time. Alright? And hand trowel, the same thing. You may want to know that hand trowel is in agriculture is not. It's nearly the same as hand trowel in bricklaying and all that, house making, but it's not the same. Okay, because you're packing sand, you need the hand trowel is a kind of like a bowl, like it's indented. It's not flat like that of the mason man, right? So if I want to describe hand trowel, I would say it's a small hand tool that consists of a short metal handle and a scoop shaped blade as a point, and like the hand fork, it is mainly used in this, squatting position. You use the hand fork and the hand trowel in squatting position. You can't stand and use them because they're very short. You need to squat and use them because they have small size. And the curved metal blade makes it possible for small ball of earth to be carried with the seedling during your transplanting. All right. We've already discussed specimens A, B, and C, but generally C and D. Generally, let's look at the advantages, because all these are simple farm tools. Let's look at the advantages of using farm tools for farm work. Since they're simple farm tools, what are the advantages? Number one, it minimizes injury to the farmer. Where you should be using your hand, you're using hand trowel, you're using hand fork, you're using garden fork. You see, the injury that would have come to you is taken by the pieces of tools, which it doesn't hurt them. So it minimizes injury to the farmer. Number two, it makes work easier. All right. Then it enhances faster completion of operation, that it saves time. Also, it enhances certain operations like budding. Now, it's not expensive to acquire. No, it's not a machine, so it's just a simple hand tool. You can easily get it, and it saves you the time and stress of doing some tasking jobs. So it's not expensive to acquire. Also, it's easy to maintain. Just wash, store in a dry place. If you have a little amount of oil, use it on oil if you want to store it for a long time. Right? It increases farmers' productivity. Say if you have an injury in your hand, it may reduce your efficiency of working. But once you have hand trowel, you're not scared of injury, and you're going to work more efficiently. So it increases farmers' productivity of goods, products from the farm and all that. Right? They are sometimes the only way to get certain operations done on the farm. Okay? Sometimes you don't want to touch some things with your hand, and that's the only option you have. Simple farm tools like the hand trowel and the hand fork and garden fork and all that. And also cases where you need to dig the ground just to put in your seedling or something. Discover it's better dug by some of the simple hand tools and all that. Right? So sometimes the only way to get certain jobs done on the farm. All right, sometimes also it's easy to operate and requires no high technical know-how. You don't need to go to school to be taught how to use a hand trowel or hand fork and all those simple hand tools. All right, so it's easy to operate, and it does not require any specialized source of power to operate. They're not machines, so they don't need fuel, they don't need gas, they don't need, source of power for you to use them. You just manually use them. All right, so those are the advantages of using farm tools for farm work. Now remember, for the knapsack sprayer, the other implements that can perform the same function as the knapsack sprayer are motorized sprayer, like I already mentioned some of them, but just remember, because they may ask you what are the other implements that can be used or that can perform the same function as the specimen, that is knapsack sprayer. And then you can say that motorized sprayer can be used. You can also use boom sprayer. You can use electrotine sprayer, and then you can use hand sprayers also. Right? Now, specimens E, F, G, and H is the next thing we're going to group and discuss now. Specimen E is poultry droppings. That's the droppings from poultry, birds, hen, their shit. Okay, then specimen F is cow dung, also shit from cow. Okay, then specimen G is NPK fertilizer. And then specimen H is lime, that's calcium carbonate. We're going to group E, F, G, and H and discuss them. So let's go. Now, these are all, if you want to class them, substances you use to enrich the soil, whether sandy soil or clay soil or loamy soil, whatever soil. You can use one of these or more. Okay, like the poultry droppings, the cow dung, their manure. Fertilizer is fertilizer, and then calcium carbonate, that's lime, can also be used to help or improve the soil characteristics. All right, so the manure, right? Organic manure for cow dung and poultry droppings, right? And then the other inorganic manures for the other one. So let's see what we can get from these manures and the rest. What are the characteristics of poultry droppings? Poultry droppings, it's bulky, it's bulky, but it is rich in microorganisms. It's rich in microorganisms and contains many plant nutrients. It has what will be needed to improve soil fertility, because it contains many plant nutrients. Then the nutrient concentrations are fairly low, the concentration. So, right, they are capable of binding soil particles together. That means poultry droppings will help in improving your soil structure. Also, it has a bad smell. Okay, it has a bad smell, but it can also help in improving your soil temperature, because it's to make it to close pores and increase the heat in the soil. It is structureless, so it's amorphous. Doesn't have a structure. You don't say it's in cube form or it's in triangle form. The way the sheet comes out, that's how it is. So it doesn't have a particular structure. It's structureless, and we call that it's amorphous. Right? So it tends to be neutral in reaction. It's not acidic, it's not basic, it's neutral. And when you apply poultry droppings, the nutrients will not be easily leached from the soil, so it will last longer in the soil, which will help to reduce soil erosion by improving the soil structure. Okay, so it also have variable nutrient concentrations, not just one type of nutrient that is present. It has a lot of nutrients in them, and the concentrations are in different forms. All right, so those are the characteristics of poultry droppings. How about the characteristics of NPK fertilizer? All right, They are granular in structure, little bits, and has pungent smell, like smell of ammonia. It can make you want to cough. Then it contains only few mineral nutrients. Most times just nitrogen, potassium, and nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But the concentrations of these nutrients it contains are high. Okay, the nutrients are fixed in definite proportions, as you can have NPK 5, 15, 15. It can go in fixed proportions. So if you don't want to supply by in 5, 15, 15, or 20, 20, 20, those are the proportions. They're not just varying, like they are fixed. Okay, so the nutrients are fixed in definite proportions. They're not bulky in nature. They're small pellets you can pack and then apply to the soil. They are easily leached. Okay, so it does not last long in the soil because the leaching will take place easily. It does not reduce the soil erosion. That's why it's easily leached. And nutrients are readily available. That's one good thing about it. You apply it, the nutrients are readily available, the plant uses it immediately, and then the soil works. So if there is no erosion at that point, it works well. Okay, so nutrients are readily available. And it's hygroscopic. It can absorb some little amounts of water, so it will help the soil to attract water into the soil. Okay, all right. Now how about cow dung? Cow dung adds nutrients to the soil. It improves soil structure, just like the poultry droppings. It improves activities of soil microbes, right? And then improves soil water holding capacity, prevents rapid changes in temperature, provides buffering effects of the soil pH, so it balances the soil pH, and improves soil aeration when it decomposes. So the poultry dropping and cow dung have similar characteristics and uses and importance. All right. Now, how about lime? So liming refers to the process whereby calcium, or magnesium containing compounds is added to the soil to reduce soil acidity. So in our case, calcium carbonate is what we're using, right? But since it contains this calcium, we are actually going to take liming in process now. Okay, so what are the other liming materials? What we have here is calcium carbonate, CaCO3, in our specimen. But what are other ones that can be used as liming materials too? You can use quicklime, CaO. You can use slaked lime as calcium hydroxide. You can use basic slag. You can use dolomite or calcite. You can use calcium bicarbonate. You can use gypsum. You can use wood ash. So wood ash can also be used as liming agents. But what is the use of lime in agriculture? So the application of lime will help to maintain soil fertility, but in what ways? Number one, it will help to reduce or neutralize soil acidity. That's the most important. Lime is basic. So if the soil was acidic, applying lime to it will reduce the acidity of the soil. So it helps to reduce or neutralize soil acidity. Also, lime applications helps to increase the activities of soil living organisms that couldn't live in acidic soils. Now, with the application of limes, which reduces the pH of the soil, reduces the acidity of the soil and makes it bearable for, microorganisms or living organisms of the soil to stay there, so they can stay there now and then improve the quality of the soil. Also, liming makes nutrients like calcium and phosphorus more readily available for tissue development of plants. And also, liming also improves the soil structure. It also increases the availability of phosphates, and molybdenum ions into the soil, and lime increases the rate of water percolation in clay soils. All right, it reduces the toxicity of dissolved copper and manganese in the soil. It serves as additional sources of calcium for bone development in fish. So it can also be used in fish pond lime, all right, to reduce the acidity of the water and also help, since it's calcium, calcium helps to develop strong bone and teeth. So bone development in fish can be enhanced when you add lime also in the fishery part of agriculture, right? It reduces turbidity in fish ponds through flocculation property, right? Now, what are the precautions we should take when applying the specimens we just discussed, right? We start from poultry droppings again. What are the precautions to take when applying poultry dropping? One, it should not be applied when fresh. It's not when the thing just comes out, you take it to apply to the crops on the field. No. Also, must not be allowed to touch the plants. It's for the soil, not to touch the plants. It should it should cure properly before it's applied, as it should be fully decomposed before you apply it, right? Wash your hands immediately after application. All right, there are microorganisms in it, can enter your nails, and if you don't wash your hand properly, they grow and spread, and then you use it, and before you know it contaminates you. So wash hands immediately after application. Wear protective clothing also, gloves and all that. It should be applied when soil is wet. Remember, not when the droppings are wet, but when the soil is wet, right? Then how about applying this NPK fertilizer? In applying NPK fertilizer, what are the precautions? Number one, do not allow direct contact with the plants. Okay. Also, do not apply when the soil is very dry. Don't. When applying manually, always wear gloves, as if you're using your hand to pack the pellets of the fertilizer to apply to the soil. Wear gloves. If not, use a hand trowel and stuff. Wash your hands immediately after application. Do not apply to alkaline salts or soils. Don't apply it to soils that are alkaline. Right? And do not eat, do not drink, do not smoke when applying these fertilizers. Remove all ornamentals from your body. Don't do slaking and queen while you're applying NPK fertilizer, because those things can, the fertilizer can stain on it, and then that is applied on your body. It can also affect your body later. All right. So just wear coveralls. That's it. If you are wearing something inside you like necklace, you can use coverall that reaches your neck. So with that, it doesn't contaminate the necklace, which can then contaminate your skin and all that. So remove all ornamentals from your body. Do soil test to know deficient nutrients before you apply. So like we said, don't apply on alkaline soils. How do you know if the soil is alkaline? You need to do a soil test for you to know if this soil needs NPK fertilizer or organic manure. All right. In case you're asked, what specimen among all we've mentioned can you recommend or can be recommended to improve the quality of clay soil? That would be poultry droppings, and I'll tell you why. The reasons are that poultry dropping binds clay particles together. So when it binds them together, it opens up or enlarges the pores. So it binds the smooth clay particles together. So you now see the difference between some particles that are not bonded. So it opens up more pores then. It improves water percolation. Water can then easily enter into clay soil because it has opened up some pores by binding some of the particles of the clay soil together. So pores are opened. It improves aeration. When water can penetrate into the soil, air can penetrate and also go out. That's aeration. It improves soil fertility. Now you have enough water that can enter, so manure or nutrients can enter inside the soil. Aeration can take place easily, so the soil fertility has been improved. And also improves oil drainage. Right? It will improve soil temperature in clay soils. So if it was too hot, to reduce it, because air can now enter and go out of the soil. In water also. It will enhance the release of locked nutrients. some nutrients that were locked inside the ground because the pores of the soil were not there for them to pass through, are now unlocked. So it releases those locked nutrients and make them more available to the plants on that clay soil. So those are the reasons why poultry droppings are recommended to improve clay soil. All right. Now, an important note with poultry manure or poultry dropping, poultry dropping is mixed with sawdust to form what we call farmyard manure or poultry manure. So, if you may be asked, what is that specimen that is poultry dropping? What is it mixed with to form farmyard manure? The answer is sawdust. Okay, so we mix poultry droppings with sawdust to form farmyard manure, or you call it poultry manure, right? Then what are the uses of this poultry manure or farmyard manure that's formed from mixing poultry droppings with sawdust? The uses of that product is to improve soil fertility, to improve soil structure, bind soil particles together, all the things that poultry droppings would have done. Right, so for compost making, for fertilization of fish pond, also to generate biogas, and also can be processed to feed ruminants or animals. Now, what are the factors that can determine the quality of poultry dropping? That's poultry manure also. All right. Number one, the type of management of animals that you are using. Example, like if you're using deep litter, if you're using battery cage, free range, semi-intensive method, this can be a factor to determine the quality of the poultry droppings. Also, type of feed given to the animals can determine the quality of the droppings. The age of the animals also is a factor. And the state of health of those animals is also a factor. If they are stooling out of sickness or diseases, the quality of such droppings is not good for the soil because it contains some bad stuff. All right, that's not needed by the soil. Also, the stage of decomposition of the poultry droppings, the time and the period. You remember we said we should leave it to decompose completely before we apply it. So those are factors that can determine the quality of poultry dropping. All right. So remember, the major nutrients supplied by NPK fertilizer is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, but then whether the method that we can use to apply this NPK fertilizer on a farm, remember we can use ring method, side dressing, or placement, or row placement. We can use top dressing. We can use broadcasting, just around. We can use foliar spray or fertigation. We can use band placement. All right, those are the methods we can use to apply NPK fertilizer to a farm. All right. Now specimen I is onion bulb. I'm going to compare it with specimen L, which is ginger. So onion bulb and ginger. Okay. All right, what are the uses of onion bulb? Okay, onion bulb is a source of vitamin A and C. It's used for flavoring food. It has medicinal uses also, and is a source of volatile oil. It is eaten as food sometimes, and is an antioxidant. Okay, it can reduce swelling. It boosts digestion and nourishes the skin, and also used to repel snakes around the home. These are some uses of onion bulb. And onion bulb belong to the group spices or vegetables. Okay, what are the pests of onion? Are the pests that attack onion? We have grasshopper, we have cricket, cockroach, monkey, thrips, rats or rodents, maggots, and eelworm. Those are the pests of pest of onion. So it's easily compared with ginger, and the uses of ginger is used for spicing food, also for seasoning, for drink making, beverages, ginger tea, ginger, all that, and it's also for medicinal purposes. Now remember that in all you do in practicals, you need to have a basic knowledge of drawing. You know how you can draw what you see, and remember the characteristics of the onion bulb and the ginger, what they both have in common, what they don't have, or what one has and the other does not have. You know, they all have adventitious roots, and they have similar characteristics, and also have things that are different or that differentiate both of them, but they can be compared and contrasted. So you need to also be able to draw, and it looks like that, and according to scale, as you may be asked. All right, so I've compared onion bulb with ginger. We're going to move to specimen J and K, which is yam tuber and cassava tuber. First of all, we know they are both tubers and they grow inside the ground. All right, they're the storage cells for the starch, and then that's the edible part, is the roots and the tuber itself. Okay, but there is, in fresh cassava tuber, we have a toxic material in it, which is hydrogen cyanide. I call it cyanide. Okay, or you call it prussic acid or hydrocyanic acid. Okay, so but how can you remove this hydrogen cyanide in fresh cassava tubers? Either by grating the tubers and squeezing out the water under pressure for a few days, which is what they do in making, flour, gari, and all that. Or you soak the tubers in water for some days for it to ferment. That's what is used in making fufu and all that. Or drying the soaked tubers in water for some days to ferment. Alright, drying the soaked tubers in the sun, and also boiling or cooking the tubers, like in tapioca cases, and also frying. Okay, this can remove that hydrogen cyanide that's in fresh cassava. So don't eat fresh cassava, okay, because it contains hydrogen cyanide. All right, now what are the methods of propagating this cassava and yam? Cassava, you propagate, you plant it using the stem, so stem cutting. But yam, you use the seedling, right? Yam seed or yam sets or mini sets. So those are the proper methods of propagating cassava and yam seed or yam. But if you're asked for ginger, the method of propagating or planting ginger is by the rhizome. So ginger rhizome is used. So the rhizome is what is the method of propagating ginger. All right. And when you plant yam, it's important to stake it with that stick that the yam leaf will be crawling on. So why do you need to stake it? It increases the yield, okay, and it improves air circulation within the farm. All right, and the leaves are better exposed to photosynthesis when you stake. Right, it reduces the attack of pests. If it's on the ground, maybe even birds can easily, hen, fowl, all that stuff can easily pick on the leaves and spoil your crop. It minimizes damages to vines, right? It increases farmers' ease of movement in the farm and reduces rain splash, which can reduce photosynthetic area. Right? Now for cassava, what are the pests of cassava? The pest of cassava. Pests of cassava can be aphids, green spider mite, rodents, grasshoppers, or locusts. And the disease of cassava is mosaic, leaf spot, and white thread. So the disease of cassava, and then the pest of cassava. Remember I said the toxic substance present in cassava is hydrogen cyanide acid. And then I've told you how to reduce this by roasting or frying, drying, fermenting, boiling, and all that. All right. Okay, so now we want to compare the last set of specimens, specimen M, N, O, and P. Specimen M is meat, fresh meat, so it's still red. And then specimen N is tapeworm, specimen O is roundworm, and specimen P is tick, T-I-C-K, tick. All right, so we'll compare meat and tick easily, but tapeworm and roundworm together. But together we're going to compare these four. All right. Okay, so we have tapeworm, roundworm, and we have meat, and then tick. Now, tapeworm is found in cattle, can also be found in pig, goats, and sheep. While roundworm is found also in cattle, pig, goat, sheep, but now also in poultry and rabbit. Okay, that's where you can find tapeworm and roundworm. And then the parts of the animals where tapeworm and roundworm are found is in so the tapeworm is found in the duodenum, that's the small intestine, or you say the gastrointestinal tract. It's where tapeworm is found, but roundworm is found in the small intestine. Okay, so that's the part of the animals where tapeworm or roundworm are found. Now, what are the differences between tapeworm and roundworm? Tapeworm and roundworm. Now, tapeworm is tape-like, just like the name is. Tape-like is flat, but like tape that is very long. Okay, but roundworm is round or cylindrical, so it has a diameter. Okay, it's not flat. Right, tapeworm also has no pointed end, but looking at the picture of roundworm, you see it has a pointed end. Has pointed ends. So, and then tapeworm has segmented body. Some body parts that look different from the other parts of the body. Okay, but roundworm is unsegmented. And then tapeworm has suckers and hooks, while roundworm has no sucker and no hook. Now, there is a head present in tapeworm. The head is distinct, but it's small. As you can clearly know that it's the head, but it's small. Now, we don't have a distinct head, but we have a head region in roundworm. Okay, so those are the differences between tapeworm and roundworm. Now, how meat can come into this is that tapeworm can be transmitted through meat to man. Okay, so tapeworm can be transmitted through meat to man. So you can sit down and think of how questions can come up with that specimen that is meat. What other specimen can be transmitted through specimen M, which is meat, to man? Are you getting that? So I've told you that specimen N and specimen O, tapeworm and roundworm, can be transmitted through specimen M, which is meat, to man, because man will eat meat. And then tapeworm is in the meat, body of the meat, and then can be transferred through the eggs to man who consumes the meat. Right? So if you know that, how then do you prevent such from happening? There must be proper sanitation in livestock husbandry, as personal hygiene should be in place, and meat should be properly cooked before eating. Please eat meat certified as free from infection by meat inspectors, and also there should be thorough inspection of animals before slaughtering. Okay, now what is the host of tapeworm? You've already mentioned that pig, cattle, sheep, goats, earthworm, housefly, and ants are intermediate hosts of tapeworm. Okay, now we've mentioned that the intermediate hosts of tapeworm are pig, cattle, sheep, goats, earthworm, housefly, and ants. Okay, I've already told you that the part of the body of the host where tapeworm is found is the small intestine, right? Okay, so what are the adaptive features of tapeworm in the host? See, number one, it possesses 4 suckers with which it attaches itself to the walls of the intestine of its host. Also, it possesses 2 rows of hooks with which it fixes itself into the intestine for a firm grip. You see? And then the whole body is covered with cortical, which prevents it from being digested by the digestive enzymes of the host. So digestive enzymes are passing through but not able to digest those parasites, so they stay and they live long. And so also it has the ability to absorb products of digestion which its entire body, since it has no digestive system of its own, it uses that ability to absorb products of digestion with its entire body. Okay, so its excessive length increases surface area for absorption because it's very long. That means it has a wider or greater surface area for absorption, and it produces many proglottides full of eggs. And then we have rostellum forms parts of appendages for attachment. Okay. And then the intermediate host of tapeworm is cattle and pig. Right? Okay. Now, what are the diseases that can be transmitted by tick? That's specimen P, the last specimen there. The disease that can be transmitted by tick is heart water disease, also red water disease or babesiosis. Then we can have tick fever or tick paralysis or mange or scabies. Tick can cause all this. What are the control measures? You can dip the host or whatever in a caricide solution, then spraying with acaricides. You spray the host and the body of the animal with acaricides, and then these ticks die off or fall off. You can also hand pick the tick from the body of the animals, like people do in dogs. And then rotational grazing, as paddocking, can also be a solution. And regular cleaning of pens where you keep the animals. Changing of beddings regularly and controlled burning of pastures can help control the spread or the attack of tick. Alright? Also use of predators like cattle egret can help. Alright? Alright. You can burn the infested pasture, quarantining new stock before being mixed with the existing stock can also help. So generally good sanitation practices can help. Now, what are the effects of roundworm on the host? Roundworm can cause internal anemia, can also cause loss of weight, can cause loss of appetite, can cause constipation, that's digestive problems in the body of the animal or the host, and also weakness, also reduction in livestock productivity, and may even cause death or damage to the internal organ during migration of young ones. All right. Okay, so we've carefully analyzed all the specimens A to P for this exam, and I believe that if you listen and listen over again, you will get to understand better and better and get prepared to have full marks in this coming exam. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.